this is another episode of Christians Do Not Read the Bible. Because they don't read the Bible the entire way, their understanding is incomplete at best. But for the most part, it is misguided and misdirected. And the fact that they don't read it all the way through and don't understand the complete story from beginning to end, it leads them to ask the wrong questions, and it leads to completely insignificant discussions about the Bible. It's like a 5-year-old discussing politics. They have no idea what they're talking about. And to anybody who understands even 60% or 70% of the Bible, their questions and their discussions will sound immature. It's ridiculous to listen to. I was listening to a very popular podcast. It's called Ruslan KD. I don't know how to pronounce it. He has various topics that he talks about, and most of them are completely ridiculous. In this particular podcast, he found some Christian guy or pastor, I don't know what he is, and he's smoking cigars and asking whether it's Christian like to smoke, seeing that your body is a temple and that the Most High is going to dwell or live amongst you or dwell with you. So is smoking a good idea?
Ask and get into the discussion around the oppositional nature of consumption. You have some folks who will say, body's a temple, it's bad for you. How do you wrestle with that as a Christian that consumes tobacco?
Yeah, well, I agree that our bodies are sacred.
The whole conversation is insane. And I'm just using this to show how little they understand about the Bible and what it means for your body to be a temple and what Paul was talking about. Let's read the verses, and we're going to go over what Paul is talking about and understanding the big picture of it all. So let's start by reading 2 Corinthians 6:15. And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of Elohim with idols? Ye are the temple of the living Elohim. As Elohim hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, says the Most High, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, says the Almighty. When I was a Christian, this was one of my favorite parts of the Bible to read, but I had no understanding of what it meant. When we break it down, and Paul talks about this in other places, is talking about not dealing with idols. Paul is talking to estranged Israelites who had been separated from the covenant in the Old Testament, and they had become called Greeks, and they had become part of other religions, which worshiped other Elohims or other gods at this time. And so Paul is trying to make them understand that they can't come back to the Most High and have any sort of worship or any part in worshiping any other gods. They have to end that immediately. And he's trying to convince them. In other places in Corinthians, you're going to see this, but he's not going to get as detailed as he is in this section because it's already understood. And you have to understand that he's quoting the Old Testament here. He's trying to convince them that they must end that practice immediately. This is not talking about smoking or talking about anything insignificant. This is something big about worshiping other deities, and the Most High cannot accept you. And he's talking about the Old Testament. So let's go back and read so we can get a better understanding of what Paul is talking about. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 1. Ye shall make no idols, nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall you set up any image of stone in your land to bow down to it, for I am the Most High your Elohim. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Most High. If you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them. Verse 11, and I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you, and I will walk among you, and I will be your Elohim, and ye shall be my people. This is about them entering into the land. And the Most High is telling them not to have any idols or any other worship. Cannot accept you. Death is on the table for you now. He's talking about keeping the commandments, and he said if they did that, he would set his tabernacle among them, and he will walk among them, and he will be their power, and they will be his people. But we know the story. They did not do that. Paul is making a reference to this part in Leviticus. And so now Paul is explaining to them, these Israelites who should know this and have read this, that in the future, the Most High is going to do that again. He's going to give them another chance at this relationship with the Most High. So let's read Jeremiah 32, verse 37. Behold, I will gather them out of all countries where I have driven them in mine anger and in my fury and in great wrath, and I will bring them again to this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim, and I will give them one heart and one way, that they may fear me forever, for the good of them and for their children after them. Paul is quoting the Old Testament. Leviticus is what would happen if they did it. They would have never got kicked out of the land. But now they have been, and then now they're estranged. But Paul is explaining that the future prophecy is that the Most High will be among them. This is guaranteed. This must happen. This is a future prophecy. And it's talking to the Israelites. It's the promise that the Most High will dwell among them forever. So they cannot worship other gods. And that's what's being explained in Corinthians. So let's read Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 26. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will place them and multiply them and set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I, the Most High, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. We see this as a future prophecy, again, that has not happened yet, not to this day. And all these three verses, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Leviticus, and now you add Corinthians, the fourth, and you see that this is all talking about the same thing, the worship of other powers, the worship of other gods. The Most High cannot accept them. So to sum this all up, Christians have silly arguments and silly conversations about things they have no idea what they're talking about. The Bible is about the worship of other Elohims and the fact that the Most High cannot accept them at that point, and they must clean their heart and only look to the Most High. This is not about setting up idols or looking at or worshiping some sort of TV character or something. This is about worshiping a God that is not the Most High, not about smoking cigarettes. And this is only a promise for Israel, what the Most High will do for them in the future. And that's what the Israelites, the true Israelites, wait for. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.